Welcome everyone to Art 202, Art Appreciation. My name is Emily Boss and I'm going to be your instructor for this class. Our course does not begin until Monday, October 26th, but hopefully once you get the announcement that the course is available, you'll log in and you're watching this video now. So you're trying to get a head start of what's going on in the class, and I'm really excited for this class. It's one of my favorite classes to teach. We have a lot of fun in here. So before I dive into the course and what it's all about, just want to give you a quick introduction to who I am. Here I am. This is me and my husband, Johnny. We live in Nashville, Tennessee. I grew up in Orange County, and I've been teaching at Cal Baptist for 3.5 years. Yeah, about 3.5 years, getting closer to 4 now. So we grew up in California. We just over a year ago moved out to Nashville, and we absolutely love it out here. These are our 2 dogs. The little white one is Alfie, and the little puppy who's much bigger now, her name is Pip. No kids yet, but we love being out here. We're really involved in a great church out here, and it's been an excellent move for us. But because of that, being in Tennessee, I am not available there for office hours. However, I do make myself very available to you as far as phone calls, emails, and if you ever wanted to, do a Skype conference, we can always do something like that. Just keep in mind that since I'm in Nashville, we're 2 hours ahead here, so any late night emails may not get answered until the next day. So a little more about me. I went to the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising, where I did a degree in interior design, and I worked in the design industry for about 5 years or so, and in the midst of that decided that I wanted to go back to school. I went to Cal State Fullerton and received my bachelor's degree in art history, and then in the midst of that got married. And then we decided to move to the UK for a year, so we lived in Nottingham in England. And I did my master's degree at the University of Nottingham in art history. My specialty is more in modern and contemporary art, but I do have, a breadth of knowledge from kind of prehistoric to the present. So the art of antiquities, Renaissance, all of that good stuff. And we'll hit on a little bit of everything during this class. I did teach at Cal State Fullerton before we moved. I taught a similar class, Art Appreciation. I also taught Writing for the Visual Arts and Modern Art. And I absolutely adore teaching. I do miss being in the classroom, so I like to interact with you guys as much as I can, and so be open to that. So that gives you a little bit about me and who I am. And let's go ahead and get into our class. If you are new to Blackboard, if you don't take very many online classes, this is what our courses look like. And so this is your home page. You'll notice that all the information you need is always going to be here on the left-hand side. Yours might look slightly different than mine. Yours won't have all the same stuff because I'm an instructor, but it should be very similar. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and look at the syllabus first. And here we go. So we are Art 202. This is the second fall session. And our course is an introductory course suited for both art and non-art majors. We will investigate the creative process and the diversity of style, technique, and media evident in various art forms throughout history and across culture. So I really oriented this class all on themes. So we do a lot of the basic, getting down those materials, all those art terminology, formal analysis, all that good stuff in the first several weeks, but then we kind of base it on themes. We talk about what is beauty, we talk about art in the media, we talk about artists as rebels and artists as individuals, we talk about non-Western art. So kind of, base it around themes, and I try to make it very relevant. Well, we get the breadth and we get to see art from a lot of different time periods. Try to always bring it into the 21st century and make it relevant to what's going on now. Again, it's online learning. I'll let you read through this section on your own. Remember that courses begin on a Monday and end on a Sunday. Make sure you log in several times during the week. Check on your grades, all that good stuff. Participation is absolutely key. Here's my contact information. Again, here's my name. My phone number. This is my personal number, so please use discretion. Again, I'm 2 hours ahead, so if you decide to call me, at 8 p.m., remember it's 10 p.m. my time. The best way really to get a hold of me is through email. I like email so much better because there's a record of everything. If we have a phone conversation and then something gets, lost in translation, we don't have a record to go back and say, okay, I see where you got confused here. So I really encourage you to communicate, make this your primary mode of communication with me. Office hours, of course, since I'm not there, online by appointment only. We can schedule a time to talk on the phone if you really want to. We could even schedule to do a Skype conversation if you want to do something like that. So I make myself as available to you as I can. Your required texts and resources. It's very important that you have your textbook. We're going to read this whole book, and don't freak out. It's not terribly long. It's paperback. It's not one of those giant art books. It's kind of bigger font and lots of images. So you'll be amazed that, hey, we're just going to get through this whole book and it's not going to be that big a deal at all. But it's a really good introductory text. It doesn't have superfluous information. A lot of those art texts, they just have way too much stuff in them. And I give you a book that's significantly cheaper. A lot of those big introductory to art textbooks are over $100. And this one is not anywhere near there. So hopefully that makes you happy. You should be able to order this in the bookstore or go grab it in the bookstore, or you can order it from Amazon. The good thing is this book has one edition only. They haven't updated the book, which is fine. And so if you can find a used copy, absolutely, I encourage you to go for it. Okay, it's going to talk about course student outcomes, goals, and objectives, and all that stuff, the things we try and hit in our course. So I'll let you read through that on your own. And then it's going to have an assignment overview. We have throughout the course, we have reflections. These are journals, discussion boards, and blogs where you're going to be interacting with your peers. These are largely based on your own interpretation and on your own opinions. They're just about, a page or so of written work, and again, it's about reflecting on different modes of artwork that we're going to be looking at, different theories as well. We have several projects, and I'm not going to go through these in detail because I will go through these each week, but go ahead and read through what these are. Some of them are written projects, some of them are creative-based projects. I don't expect you to be professional artists, so don't panic. It's kind of about putting in effort and then reflecting on your experience of making these. So that's what I really look for in grading those. Each week we have an artist of the week that we will present to you. And 5 of those 8 weeks, it's either 4 or 5 of those 8 weeks, you will have some questions that accompany that presentation, and that will be graded. They're just 10 points, so not every week, but make sure you pay attention to which weeks have questions accompanying them and which ones don't. The ones that don't are kind of more enrichment activities, some really cool documentaries that, and I know you have oodles of spare time that you can watch. Each week we have a quiz as well. These are brief quizzes, no written portion. They're all, multiple choice, fill in the blank, etc. Matching, that kind of stuff. And then we have our capstone project, and you are going to be doing a museum review for this. This is a 5-page review of your experience, and it's done in 2 parts. So the first part, you're documenting your experience of visiting, and then in the second part, you're going to analyze a chosen work of art. Please, 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 I'm saying this now in the very beginning, and I will repeat this throughout the session. Don't wait until the last week of class to plan your museum visit. Nothing irritates me more than when students email me on Monday of week 8 and say, oh gosh, hey, I live out this far and there's no museums near me. What do you recommend that I go and do? And I'm going to be really irritated and say, I've given you 8 whole weeks to plan one visit to a museum. Get out of your town. Go out, go to LA, go to Orange County. There's a great museum in Riverside as well. So if you kind of live out there, just, plan ahead. Sit down with your family, take your kids. I really encourage you to get out into Los Angeles County, the North Simon Museum, the LA County Museum of Art, the Getty. There's so many great museums right on your doorstep there in California. Take advantage. So do not wait and put that off. Schedule your visit in advance, and I promise you will not regret it. Okay, it's going to go over assessment policies, how we do. I have rubrics for just about every assignment, and so make sure that you take a look at those. It's going to give you your point distribution, how we break up everything for the class. We do a plus-minus grading system, so make sure that you are aware of that. Make sure you're checking your grades often. And here is our course schedule. This is liable to change, but most likely it won't. The only thing that might change is every once in a while, and I'm making no promises, I might, hey, we're not going to have our reflection this week. I might pull back if it seems like it's just extra busy. And I know this is that session where we're in the holiday season, tend to have a little bit of grace here and there. So just to be aware that things might change. You'll notice that assignments are due day 7. So our classes start on a Monday, remember, and on a Sunday. So Sunday is day 7. They're always due at the end of the day on Sunday. So 11:59 p.m. Sunday night is when I expect you to have your work done. That is every single week, weeks 1 through 7, except for week 8, that changes. Again, if you're new to the opposite program or to these online classes, our course ends on a Sunday night at midnight, and then that following day, Monday at 4 p.m., is when we as instructors have to submit your final grades. So if I were to allow you to submit 5-page papers at midnight on Sunday and then had to grade all of those on Monday morning, it would be a lot. So what I do is on week 8, those assignments are due on Friday. This is the only week during the whole session that this happens, but be aware of this. Week 8, you have Monday through Friday to get that work done, and then that way I have the weekend to get your work graded and get those final grades submitted, okay? So make sure you are aware of that. It's going to talk about professionalism, all that good stuff. Regular effective contact, so we are expected with each other to get back to each other in a timely manner. You must use Lancer Mail for your email communications. Do not email me from a personal email address. It's because all the Lancer Mail emails, they stay in the server and in the system. So again, it's kind of protecting both of us on both ends from any spam for one, and then also for being able to track our communication in case there's any issues. So I do my very best to get back to you within 24 hours of an email, a phone call. If I don't get back to you in 24 hours, please just send me a follow-up email and say, hey, I just wanted to check and see if you got that email that I sent yesterday. Usually if I haven't gotten back to you, it means it just fell through the cracks. I thought I responded. There have been times where I could have sworn I responded to a student, and they're like, no, I never got anything. So just follow up with me, have a little grace. I am human, but I do my very best to get back to you in that 24-hour time period. Timely feedback for assessed work is 72 hours for those minor assignments. Usually Mondays is when I sit and grade, Mondays and Tuesdays. So I try to get most work back to you right away. So you turn stuff in Sunday nights at midnight, and Monday morning I'm sitting down and grading. For those larger projects, you have to allow us a week for those papers. But I try to get everything done by Friday because I just don't want to sit and grade on my weekends if I don't have to. So with that being said, late assignments. I have time in my schedule where I allocate hours to grade your work. If you submit work that is late, then I have to find other time in my schedule to sit down and grade your late work. And I don't like doing that if I don't have to. So it's just courtesy that you turn your work in on time. But besides just the courtesy thing, it's so much better for you if you stay on top of your work and submit it on time. I do not want my class to be a stressful experience for you. I want you to enjoy it. So manage your time wisely. Sit down at Monday at the beginning of the week and plan out, how many hours of what nights you're going to do what work to make sure you have everything submitted on time. And that way you don't overwhelm yourself. Either, one night, sit down and do that Artist of the Week presentation. I mean, there's some cool documentaries in there. Watch them with your family. And then it's going to take you about 10, 15 minutes maybe to answer those questions. The reflections are the same. Those shouldn't take terribly long for you to be doing. So plan one night to do those. Written assignments, maybe an hour, 3 different nights, or however long it might take you. If you know it takes you a little bit longer to write, allocate yourself a little extra time. Nothing helped me more when I was writing my dissertation in my MA program than scheduling out my writing time, because I knew that if I missed one of those days, then I had to catch up those 500 words or however many words I had planned to write that day. on another day, and it motivated me to not miss that time. And it made me so much less stressed because it's just bite-sized pieces at a time instead of, getting to Sunday night and freaking out because you've got 6 hours worth of work to do. So if you want any more advice on time management skills or, how to plan your work, please email me. I'm more than happy. It's something I'm a little bit neurotic and passionate about. So I'm more than happy to help you with that. So all that said, I try to motivate you to turn in your work on time by giving a 10% deduction for any graded assignment for every day the assignment is late. So if you submit something to me Monday, you're already going from 100% to a 90%. And if I grade it and it was going to receive a 90%, guess what? Now you're down to an 80%. So it's deducted from graded assignments. So usually I grade the assignment first and then I take a deduction from it for every day that it is late. So it is really imperative that you turn your work in on time. However, if extensions are needed in emergency circumstances, please contact me before the assignment is due. I am a stickler for late work, and yet at the same time I have a lot of grace. I understand that kids get sick. I understand that things happen at work. I understand that family members, stuff happens, life happens, cars break down. Just communicate with me. If you are honest with me and you communicate early if possible, then most likely I'm going to say, hey, why don't you take an extra day? Or if you need an extra 2 days, whatever it might be. What I hate is when students tell me after assignments are already late, oh, this is what's happening, I need some more time. And it just, it's not courteous to my schedule. If I know ahead of time that, your kid has the flu, even Sunday night, if your work's due Sunday night and your kid starts throwing up Sunday night and you're a little bit behind, email me Sunday night, because then Monday morning when I get up and I'm going to grade your work, I know that that's what's going on. So just communicate with me and I'm more than likely to have some grace. Okay, there's a section on netiquette and just etiquette about, online courses. I'll let you read through that. Academic honesty, I don't take a lot of time going over this, but let me just tell you, I'm very, very good at catching you if you plagiarize. Do not do it. There's no reason to do it, especially in a course like this. Just make sure that you are citing any research. Don't freak out and think that, oh gosh, I'm not allowed to, use any quotes or anything. No, that's fine, and I encourage you to do that. Just make sure you're citing your research in the text and in a works cited section. Give credit where credit is due. If it's not your original thought and if it's not common knowledge, just when in doubt, cite your work, okay? You can get kicked out of the course, kicked out of the program, kicked out of the university. This is a very serious thing, and CBU takes it very seriously, so just don't do it. And then, of course, students who have a documented disability wish to arrange the appropriate accommodations, please contact the coordinator of disability services. And that is our syllabus. Whew, we got through it. Okay, I'm just going to walk through a couple more things just so you're aware of how the course works. And then when you go to your week 1 announcement, we'll talk specifically about that course. So this is what your learning activities look like. So you notice that there is each week already laid out for you. There's even a link to discussion boards here at the bottom. We'll just take a quick look at week 1 to give you an idea of what things look like. There's going to be a weekly agenda every week at the top, and then I will have, as I record them, an announcement video similar to this, but much shorter. You'll have any assignments detailed. Yours will look like this. Let me turn my editing off. So it'll have one item at a time. And so that's what it looks like. If you need tutoring help, there's a tutoring online tab here. Student resources, make sure you're aware of those. And that is pretty much our course. If you have any questions at this point, please feel free to contact me. If you want to, start getting ahead on some things, I'm fine with that. Just let me know if you have any comments, questions, concerns about the course. I'm looking forward to quote-unquote meeting you all on the 26th. And one last thing that I will make you aware of, if you go to the discussion boards now, and you go ahead and click on those, you'll notice that there's a form for introductions. And this is just a quick place for you to introduce yourself. So you can hit create thread. Hi, I'm Emily. Oops. And you can go ahead and just type a little introduction about who you are, and that way we can kind of get to know you a little bit. So I encourage you to do that. Again, make sure that you order your textbook. That's extremely important. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of the first fall session and are ready to jump in for some cool stuff during the holidays.